Good morning, everyone. Sorry, it's taking a little bit time, but I think what I'll do, I will proceed with the start of the meeting. I see a couple of you have joined in now. While we still let others to join, maybe I will start first. Yeah. So I'll share my screen and we'll maybe Praveen, are you able to see my screen? Okay, great. And I'm also audible, yeah? You can hear me as well, yeah? Okay. Let me know once the slide comes up. All good, all good, yeah? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I believe a couple of you are here today. I hope you have successfully able to join. We have been sending periodic updates regarding our coffee talk demo day. I think you would have got a reminder as well this morning. So thank you so much for joining this coffee talk SAP demo day. By the way, this session is going to be quite interactive. Yeah. So we may actually, some at times to time you are able to also unmute yourself and you could actually speak, ask question, interrupt. We are happy to also, answer your questions. Yeah. If there's anybody there in the lobby, please admit them as well. Thank you very much, Shalini and Sheila. Okay, so good morning, everyone. So we have a couple of people here who are with us from Pixel Pinnacle, as well as the main presenter, Praveen Narzi. So I'm your host today. I'm the CEO for Pixel Pinnacle Technology. My name is Dilip. And it's a great pleasure to welcome you to this insightful morning where we will be exploring how SAP Business One unlocks business potential in the era of Industry 4.0. When we speak about Industry 4.0, it is multiple industry from all the IoT automation, whichever, even on agriculture aspects, how SAP Business One can actually help. Now, we truly appreciate your time, whether you are a CFO, finance manager, IT director, business leader, one of the key person stakeholders in your company. Your presence here signals your commitment to driving a digital transformation in your organization. As we move deeper into Industry 4.0, business here in Malaysia, whether SME or large corporations, face increasing challenges. Now, rising competition, the need for faster decision making, and pressure to stay connected across supply chain and the global markets. So here we are, Pixel Care Consulting, Pixel Pinnacle Technologies in Riyadh Berhad. We are an IT solutions, comprehensive IT solutions provider. We are here based in KL Central and also regional. I will go through this couple of slides here for your understanding on who we are and then how we can actually help you as well. No, our aim here is mainly, on the industry specifics, on multiple verticals. We are trying to tailor fit digital solution, which is of ease of use and fast adaptability. We also understand it's very important on a time and cost effectiveness. So it's on a low TCO model that we embark on. We position ourselves as a very niche end-to-end solutions provider who is also trying to employ AI onto the part on analytics, for example, or certain decision makings this will enhance your operation needs, right? So this is our aim and vision for the company. We have 10 over years of consulting experience on a very client-centric approach and global reach. We have about 8+ countries with physical presence in 3 countries specifically. So projects wise, we have eight over countries. We are in Malaysia, Singapore, and Philippines. We are also looking into Cambodia as a destination for us to participate and help corporations. We are also specialized in healthcare, retail, manufacturing, engineering, trading, and education sectors. And we work with the integration other solutions as an integration specialist. Yeah? Now, as I said, we are in Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines. We have a lot of strategic partnership with multiple solutions, which will be discussed later on by my colleague. He would also be able to speak on the solutions a little bit more detailed, and as well as able to inform you what are our own solutions as well we can actually help with, all along with SAP Business One as the main goal here, right? On a client-centric initiative, this is a journey that we take on. Our low TCO solution is number one priority. Our second initiative is innovation and digital transformation. Third is problem solving, really. And the fourth is the industry expertise that we are able to specialize in. We are mainly doing manufacturing capabilities, and we are also on retail and F&B, as well as engineering expertise and trading and services. This is 4 of our main component of the verticals that we offer our solutions. We do have a few other industry-specific solutions, but this is the main ones that we embark on. And we are part of also Federal Manufacturing Malaysia Federation. We have actually spoken to them in the past. We also work with other chambers as well. That allows us to be more concentrated on these verticals. On a project consulting, this is mainly to do with the journey on consulting. So we definitely will start with the initiation and objective definition. Now we understand that we can always provide you a solution off the shelf, but when it comes to specific industry needs, we always have to try to get into the areas where we'll understand very clearly the objective, and we actually do a discovery and data analysis in order for us to provide a solution and implement. So this is a consulting approach that we always take on, which is a very important part of a solution provider, where many of them do not actually provide a consulting, but we here can also help you with consulting. Mobility and CRM is part of our solution that we can actually cater for you. When we speak about mobility and CRM, it is really about trying to have the needs of your operations or your engineers or technicians who are at the field. Probably they need a system that tracks well their job and reports back to the main central system. And of course, customer relationship management is a very important component, right? And cloud integration and industry specific. So we take care of mobility and CRM solutions for many vertical of industries. Manufacturing automation software, we work with other partners as well as we also have our own automation software that could actually help you to enhance your operations. Business intelligence is a very important key factor for decision makers in order for you to be able to provide insights to your management. How do you do this? When we speak about data, and when we are actually able to gather the data, but to process it in a proper way, Today, you also have AI to help you to streamline your information and put it in a way that is helpful for decision makers. So this is something that we are also helping. Customized development. If you have something that we need to work on, please feel free to get in touch with us. We will be able to cater for consulting need and uh, put on a proper information system as well for you that could actually enhance your operation. Right? SAP implementation services. So we do provide these SAP implementation services, which will be discussed further by my colleague. We also provide a POS system. E-invoice is something that we have been working on since last year, April, and we have already done for phase 1 client, phase 2 clients, phase 3 clients, and more. Yeah, and currently we are also working with a couple of clients who require this on a phase 3 and different vertical other than manufacturing. So if you are still looking at exploring this, please let us know. Client alliances. These are our client base that we have. We have more than this, but these are our main ones we have worked on. I think probably later my colleague also will give you some more credibility to our work on certain aspects of what has been an instrumental product offering through our solutions to all this type of clients that we have on retail, manufacturing, trading, engineering services, right? Technology partners, we carry these technologies and we also provide this consulting and also offer the solutions out of this. So SAP being one of the very important offering that we do, also on Alibaba Cloud, as well as other solutions on. We also do warehouse management. If you require any consulting on warehouse management, please let us know as well. On Alibaba Cloud, we are helping prospect clients to actually migrate to cloud and we utilize Alibaba Cloud or even AWS for that matter. Now, this is my contact. If feel free to be in touch on any of the mediums. I mean, please email us. We'll be able to in touch. Now, let me also, excuse me, sorry. I'll just come on. So this is where SAP Business One, which is a very important point of our discussion today, where the solution that is out there, it's for multiple vertical industries, and one has to get a very strong consulting partner in order for any companies whatsoever to be able to identify your pain problems and offer the right solution for you. So here today, of course, we are looking at how to migrate SAP Business One to the cloud, and why is that important for scalability, the latest upgrades and enhancements available for users. This is an important information as well. How advanced analytics can empower leaders to forecast better, optimize operations, and improve profitability. So before we begin, I like to thank you to our partners who have also invited some of you here, and our team, and also for you to make time to join us today. We understand your schedules are packed, so we don't take it lightly. We want you to bring back a valuable information here, not just a normal demo, and change and reflect how ERP solution like SAP Business One can drive Malaysia's competitiveness in 4.0. Right. So now I do not want to wait any longer. It's 9:50. So I think with that, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Praveen Narzi. He's a highly experienced SAP Business One implementation expert who has worked with businesses across industries from manufacturing to trading and services. His expertise lies in helping organizations migrate smoothly to cloud, optimize their ERP usage, and leverage analytics for smarter business decisions. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Praveen to lead today's session. Thank you very much. Praveen, off to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning to one and all. Thanks for joining this day's session, which is basically a very short meetup, 45 minutes to an hour or so. And we just wanted to capture a very small crowd who are enthusiastic about upgrading their landscape. So bringing some of the so-called digital transformation into your companies at something of a affordable cost, as well as try and get to know each other in terms of our achievements in the market. So I'll quickly go through with an extension of what Dilip just shared. So with what we have done so far, they are both proprietary as well as in-house developments that PickleCare does, in short. While we are always on the lookout for anything new that has to come through the entire market situation, we have to adapt into some of the cultures, some of the expectations, and also some alternative products while we are trying to address some business cases. Industry Revolution 4 means anything in the areas of manufacturing. So typically within the manufacturing components, we may adopt or plug in a few more gadgets or workflow systems and so on. That could be one. But otherwise, the core focus will be more towards extending or discussing a bit more of the products and services we carry, and a bit of a cloud management. Now, the cloud management is an interesting piece where we have a bit more references, much of which we are at present state encouraging some of our clients to go on cloud, which is fairly affordable in such cases. So let me just put up the next slide. In terms of consulting space, right, in terms of consulting space, I think sure, Mr. Chong Kin Chu has a question. Is it okay we take his question? Do you have a question, Mr. Chong?
No, sorry, I wrongly. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, so sorry. Some background noise here, yeah? One moment. I hope you didn't hear this anymore.
We are okay with your voice, bro.
And I was told that there was a bit of a background noise. Right. Now, some of the consulting spaces includes a ton of client-centric approach where we are always listening. Our backbone for support is very much there. That is our bread and butter in most cases. So we are very highly responsive. Our SLAs are very interesting in terms of getting back to our customers. And then we offer some aggressive rates as well as services portfolio. Now, within the consulting or the services, we have certain implementations. We have client, both the technical and functional support. We have a lot of upgrades. Recently, we've been upgrading quite a few of our customers who were natively installed and brought them into cloud. So that cloud interaction will then give you sort of a remote access to just about anything that you do today, specifically applications that you want to access over a remote session or anything that is possible around there. Now, along with the migration comes an upgrade. So in most cases for ERP customers, we provide free upgrades, assuming you have a certain product running, in this case, an SAP or something like that. We probably will give you a free upgrade, provided you go into the cloud migration points. Now, we do a bit of audit as well as a compliance as well. So some things like ISO audit, we do some system audits, and there are some management compliances we also perform. In terms of solution spaces, I just want to quickly touch on a few key things that we have been doing within the Malaysian space. So in terms of our experiences, in terms of our capabilities, we have assisted many organizations to comply and go ahead and adopt some of these technologies. That it doesn't include, we're not biased to any big and small institutions. We are basically cutting it across many. So some of those initiatives include invoicing, warehouse management, field services, and some workflow. Now, how does it all come up to become an IR4 or anything? So depending on which industry or background you're from, we have certain solutions which can extend a flow or to integrate itself into an ERP or a whole production activity, which can be very much seen when things are going on at the site and so on. A warehouse element where we can integrate some of our logistics, some of our supply chain management, some of the procurement things that we could think of. So these things are very interactive in nature. And field services component where if you belong to any maintenance base or if you carry some kind of maintenance activities and so on, have to send your staff or technicians out there so you could leverage on some of our in-house capabilities. Now, having done this, the advantage that we carry is to absorb an industry's experience, able to replicate or even almost bring it forward to the next set of companies or stacks that we could get into. And of course, finally, the ERP. Now I'm going to go in a sequence whereby I could just show you a snippet of each. So to begin with, this was the portal that we've been deploying for invoice. For those enthusiasts who are very much interested and who have been entirely struggling with the invoicing and so on, finance folks who are not able to do your submissions on time or LHDN going down every now and then, we have this portal which integrates to become a standalone, as well as it being integrated to ERP, where we are able to automatically pull invoices, put them into a portal like this, and that will manage both inbound, outbound, as well as acknowledgements from LHDN. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but among the crowd, if you have any questions, you can quickly raise your hand and I could speak a little bit more or show the product in itself, because this is purely a demo talk after all. Yeah. If not, we can always come back to this discussion. So unless there are no hands raised, I'll just quickly move on to the next. A component of field service management is where we saw some of our manufacturing and engineering floor clients wanted to go and manage their individual technicians, track their movements, get pictures or images of equipment that they fixed or their technicians or staff fixed on site. It could be anything to do with equipment management, lift repair maintenances, deliveries of any sort, as well as maintenance activities. So the portal is self-development, and we have an interactive mobility where you could track, trace, and as well as register some of the activities within the field services component. Now, a few customers of our primarily B1 are in the areas of lift or aircon servicing or deliveries. So these are our customers. We have plugged them to manage their work sites, jobs, and so on. Again, question if you have any in between. If not, I'll just go ahead. This is the other part where Dilip was mentioning about the warehouse solution. See, industrial evolution doesn't limit itself to production alone. Much of it has to do with the logistics backend. If your inventories are not properly taken care of, stock takes, receipts, holding areas, QCs, and so on, there's so much that you can do on the shop floor. So production floor, even before we get in there, we would probably want to organize your entire floor management, your spaces where you need to organize your inventories, bin management, and all that. So this particular product that we carry does a whole new set of activities that you would probably do this on a screen, which is an SAP or anything that is on the ERP. So what happens is we see these some of these flows using receipt, return, inventory transfer. Some of these functions are ERP functions, but when we try to look into production, when we try to look into managing dispatch and control, we have this particular Android or iPhone based OS where we could use just about everything on a gadget or a device. So use it, gun it, do all your interactions of the WMS, and then try to manage your deliveries. I'll just pause here for a moment, yeah, while I uh, have a couple of more things to discuss. Any specific questions on this from the crowd? Maybe Dilip, you can take some questions if there's any.
Yes, if any of you feel free to ask questions along the way, or if you prefer, you could also put it into the chat. Yeah, if you like to have questions that you want to post in the chat, feel free to go ahead with that.
So maybe I'll give that a few seconds. If no, this is something that we are already ready with. It has integrated itself with the ERPs. It has a complete warehousing solution, and it can also extend itself to manufacturing or engineering systems or QMMS or CMMI, these types of extensions that we carry. Again, we have all of these catered depending on all the experiences that comes in, and every company or a manufacturing entity is served as a unique prospect along the go. Yeah. Now, there are certain plugins or there are certain workflow systems that we have to customize on top of the existing ERP. For example, should you happen to be a global company, and then for global systems, there's so much of rigidness in implementing anything new at the local side. So managers, CFOs, CTOs, or even production houses, they are so tight to follow something that is inflexible or not very intuitive or takes a bit of paperwork all the time. So we plug in a development where we could manage a semi-ERP or an entire flow management, including procurement side, sales side, and all that. This itself can entirely replace your ERP, but we could also take a Lego out of the box and then make them a single or a workflow system whereby you're trying to achieve something to do with just inventory movements or manufacturing or MES or just handle purchases or QCs in some cases. So we have an entire module dedicated to this. I'll just touch a bit on the system that can cater this for the information here. So this is what we are talking about. So in cases like this, we could manage an entire purchase or supplier base where we can manage an entire master data, and it's very neat and polished, when it comes to all of these interactions. So master data, contact lists, products and services on top of what you already carry for an ERP, be able to attribute or even extract a component of this and keep all the necessary details, like anything that attributes in terms of warehouse details, purchase side detail, accounting detail, production related information, manufacturing related information. Much of these can be handled from the procurement standpoint. Now, you must be wondering why this whole thing doesn't double up to become an ERP. Now, if you're a prospect and if you're struggling with some limitations and you do not want to buy or purchase more of the licenses piece with any of your current so-called providers, these are options that you can fairly think about. So it gives a very good leverage on how we can manage the entire products and services, production processes, and anything that comes along managing your material management. Yeah, this is very interesting in the sense that you will be able to keep your TCOs, and then you can load as many as many records, as well as users not having to pay an extra amount for every signed in user, So this is basically an unlimited plan whereby we will host and manage it end to end. Yeah, I'll take a moment here to just pause and then show request some questions if you have any. I don't hear any questions so far, so I'll just move on. Yeah, so the next part of the whole thing will be the actual discussion point, the SAP journey. Now, some of you here are here maybe to look at what can be a newer technology in terms of upgrades or migration. You could probably be here to enhance your current experiences, add some analytics piece. So what SAP does is has a roadmap. So the whole roadmap comes about in shape where the implementers are given a roadmap to go and implement certain fixed modules or certain things which can be very intuitive in nature, functional side as well as technical side. And the technology also extends to IoT as well as uh, mobility spaces. So in terms of the whole SAP current structure, I'm sure you must have seen some of these things are accounting, backend inventories, and some bit of production, sales, and service. Now, the earlier versions of whatever we showed serves as extensions to some of these interactives. So assuming if you have to go into digitizing certain things. So the digitizing things typically starts with bringing the whole thing to cloud. So the cloud management of things will eliminate the basic necessity or need to manage or put a head count around it. So that's one thing. The IoT will now extend itself to machine interactions or numbers that you want to collect from production, or even have a shop floor system if that works for you, like the one I just shared. Many of these things will extend in itself to become a MES, a future MES, or CMMI, or QC platforms, as per se. The machine learning component is something that we would do in terms of PLCs. I'm sure some of you must have been exposed to PLC machines or logical programming. So those kind of a PLC machine with big automation things, we can interact and make it talk to the ERP as well. In the past, we've done so. Big data is where you have a lot of data, a lot of reporting criteria, just don't know how to meddle around or slice and dice it. That's where we churn this big data and then produce some analytics screen. Now, SAP has its own analytics, which I will show you in a bit, but that also extends to become a third party or even a mobile-based analytics on the fly. So managers or keepers of the operations who are interested, you can make these things available on your fingertips. Then, of course, the mobility technologies. Now, picture this. You may have some one-step action item like a leave or approval-based app or something to check stocks or anything that allows you to improve a step or two within your daily routine. So we have this one step or two steps apps which will simply get into the ideas of our daily routine for one or two steps things. And the recent thing that we attempted to do was to get a CEO of the company, or particular company in Singapore, to approve payments. So what used to happen is checks were drawn, and then there was a lot of time waiting on the CEO to travel and come back. So we had to plug an app. The CFO wanted to keep it fast, so we had this app enabled on the bosses, and they were able to approve on the go wherever they are, having to have a list view of payables in this case. And not just that, in another case, we also interacted with the banks to integrate statement of accounts end of the day matching together with the ERP content. So we could just export the ERP content, tally with the bank, and then have a statement of account done within no time. So some of these activities will take almost a week plus, in terms of closing activities or closing of the books, I would say. Any questions so far? Again, I've been talking a lot, so appreciate if you have any specific query around these areas. You may type in if you do not want to speak through. Now, SAP key functionalities are there. Again, some of these are inbuilt. Most of you, I'm sure, know a lot of the features and functions are not traditionally open. We are able to plug and play some of these modules in the event that you're never aware of what it carries within the product itself. Now, some of these are subjected to upgrades. Some of these are subjected to feature implementations. And a lot of it has to do with buying of new licenses, maybe, but then we have a workaround where you could save some of these licenses and not having to purchase them. So things like dealer portal or a supplier portal who could look into your existing inventories and tell you what you need. They will supply you, and then you can automatically issue purchase orders to such prospects. Just one example, yeah. So that is something outside. Even the production flow, SAP has a limitation where you cannot really track the WIP entirely. So we have a station management or a WIP software, which extends anything from issuing a work order all the way tracking your station activity until the finished goods part by part. So these are things that we could add on with the core functionality. And of course, it's all extended to a web, mobile, and analytics. I'm going to touch a bit on these three things. I'm sure most of you may or may not have seen some of these things, yeah? Couple more slides. Yes. So this is where it's just sales pitching for what SAP has done so far. And these are some of the strong enablers in the market where a lot of new things like digital enablers, AI, machine learning, BTP technology, analytics, and mobile. Now we are in the shape of doing all of the above, where we are trying to keep it to the cloud or bring it all to the cloud. So that's under the transformation or business technology part. Analytics is always there. Mobility, we are plugging in a lot of external solution, one-stop solution into developing apps. Of course, much of it comes with AI and machine learning. Now, people talk about AI so much. So what is this AI really? In any context, if you are attempting to query by text or speech or human interaction or the LLM, that's what they call, you're just being a naive user and you want to get your job done, where machine is listening in and translates or transforms your query into results. So some of these things are available already into SAP's belts, where you could probably talk to it and ask for certain reporting that you need. But of course, to get there is a roadmap. So you have to go an upgrade cycle and so on. This roadmap is just about how the whole SAP flow works, so probably skip this for those who already went. This is more of a technical space where you be aware that an existing solution at the core sits in either you could be a HANA or a SQL customer, maybe one of the two. You could be an on-premise customer. So for us, the prospect comes in where you are sitting unpolished for a while. And then we are in to assess all your current scenarios where it could be an on-prem, you propose your cloud, you could be running a SQL To handle much larger database, we could propose you a HANA. On top of it, we could interact with your third party by web services service layer, develop certain SDKs, software development kit. So this could be to develop certain add-ons which can be helping you. In one case, invoice is this. All right. WMS can be one of them. Integration framework comes in where you have a third-party software or workflow system that you could have implemented, attach all your production flow management systems, and anything that comes along with supply chain. Yeah, and it all results in naturally some analytics, business reporting, some of the field service activity, AI, as well as bill criteria. Now, in a nutshell, a product is always very core and concreted in most cases for ERP. There's always no room to negotiate, but what vendors such as us or proprietary vendors such as SAP and so on, they do is to provide extensions, provide toolkits, provide development kits for customers to sort of do their own thing. Yeah. Then again, it's very subjective as to the capability of who does it and what the customer needs are. And these are some of the SAP build technologies we can do in terms of composing apps. We could automate a lot of process. There's a BPM module or a business process module available. And then much of it will also interact in designing sites, workflow, as well as giving you a ton of business visibility. So what is this all thing I'm talking about? So let's just say if you're a traditional customer, you get on the upgrade roadmap, you'll try to assess what are the indicators that you're looking for, what are the operational enhancements or KPIs you're looking for. We try to plug our interaction into those, and then we attempt to go and discuss some of the pain points. Naturally, we could be plugging in some solution, or we could be enhancing what is already available, right? So some of these things are at stake here.
Maybe
I'll take a pause on this. Yeah.
Yeah, we can ask the participant to state the ERP system, or if it's SAP, what is this model or version that they are using. Maybe if you don't mind, participants, any of you could also type in your in the chat if you don't want to actually unmute, but you can actually type in what is the system that you're currently using. Are you using a SAP B1? It will be very interesting as well. I'm sure.
Can we get a show of hand how many are SAP already an SAP customer? Just a show of hand will do.
Miss Chong, yeah. Okay.
Miss Chong is one, yeah. Sure. What we could do, Miss Chong, right, to sort of give you a personal touch or try and talk to you separately, if that's okay. We can always discuss a lot of extras that is not tabled out of this conversation. But for anybody else, totally appreciate if we can keep it interactive, or just to ask some questions if there are some burning needs, or there are some references, or there are certain things that you want to understand how we attempted and so on. Yeah. Right. So let me then get into a quick demo. Let's see. Yep. Before that, I just wanted to talk about what has been going on in the market for innovations. Yeah. So along the lanes, the product itself has a lot of development criteria. So developers or market experts or implementation experts try to discuss and then come up with a version which basically fits in a few modules or functionalities or collaborations that they're looking at. So the SAP market, the latest trends came about putting up a web client where you could just use this everywhere. I'll show you a demo on this one. There's something of a framework where they are able to automate in terms of workflow. There are some integrations that is available currently to sort of have it registered with your email so that, for example, you raise a document or a code or a purchase order and you want this thing to go out of SAP directly with some basic messages or like an email content. We could do that. This is available. There's a collaboration with the Teams app that we are using. So for example, if you want to set up a meeting or an Outlook and then you want SAP to be notifying you within its own calendar, that's possible as well. The whole web client is something that I will show. And then there's a lot of all these options for other related services. So these two screens are something that I will display in a moment. Yeah. What happened recently is we have a prospect upgrade and we went on to migrate them to cloud. And the bosses wanted all their employees to be sort of remotely working because some travel, and we have to give them an application which was already old enough on a certain version, and then we migrated them, have them upgraded, and then gave them certain screens which can make them decide or work efficiently, like almost on a Google. So these are the results of what we did over there. And these things come about by a little bit of analytics piece as well as statistical or counter-based things, which I will show you in a bit. Yeah. So what happens within these analytics is all about how you store your data, how do you capture information, how do you render them for those individuals who want to see on a certain frequency. And then the highlights of all these, many to be honest. I don't want to bore you with some of this content. Let me just go into an actual demo before we touch on the migration. Yeah, one moment. So this would be the server or directly the system that we are logged into. As you can see, this is SAP B1. Traditionally, you are familiar with this particular product. All right. So let me see if I can log into this. It's just a case study or a test environment which we have. And all of you, maybe those who are using SAP, are familiar with these screens. These are the typical windows that you will land into, kind of grayish and dull, boring. We managed to upgrade, and then we loaded something called the web client. So the web client is then triggering an outside URL. So the URL, of course, we need to do some technical things to expose it to the net. Gives you an interactive screen such as this. Now, happy to see things like this, all right? So suddenly we have counters and numbers and the whole experience is a bit more pleasing. Now, individually, whatever you want to do is you're able to go and check and click and almost see what's going on in terms of activities. So for example, if I have to check on my payments history, so I click here, I've got a ton of information almost ready at my fingertips. So this is the same as what you're doing already, except that this has a web look and feel, and the backend and everything doesn't quite change a bit. So if you want to have a statistical view, you want to have an interactive view, if you want to have a slicing and dicing, that you can be able to do that, or a traditional way of looking at it and a statistical data. So back to these screens. And not just on payments, we can even see inventory side. You can see transactions. You can see production related information, accounting related information. Now, in this case, this particular customer is doing a lot of service calls, as in registering service calls or doing equipment cards. So it gives you this screen or one-click visibility to just about anything that they do. All right. And then if you happen to click here, you could directly get into the BP master. Let's try that. So this is all the BP master. If I want to see anything of this sort, if I want to see the material itself, I should be able to get into the equipment directly. Now, it looks a bit nice, if you ask me, for those who are bored with using stuff, and then it is basically a transactional screen. You could do anything that you could do on a typical SAP screen. You can duplicate it, you can try to raise a new, and this is all that is for the look and feel of the versions that we are talking about now. This comes in a version 10.x something, and then we have to plug in a few more elements to it before it starts looking like this. Let's touch a little bit on analytics also. So analytics per se is a very misunderstood interpreted term. Let's just say if you're not transacting properly, there's nothing to analyze. On top of that comes mobility, of course. So for one generic view, we could do something like this. These are already inbuilt reports, and SAP has at least quite a few, about a couple of hundred reporting criteria where we need to design it become an interactive thing. Now, all of this is something you don't have to pay us or pay a vendor to do anymore. Imagine you're requesting somebody to keep writing reports, the PDFs and all that. Here, all of this is something that is DIY and editable in nature. You can just go about doing anything that you want. And let's just say I don't like that screen. I just want to see my so-called business partner data, not based on opportunity value, something of this sort. And then if I have whatever dimensions I need to keep, I have a new chart to follow suddenly, just like that. And the same thing goes to here. This is more of a statistical data. If I have to have it interactive, I'll apply some filters or make it look like a chart or any of those types. I'm able to change the look and feel of each of these things. Now, the idea was to sort of provide a play tool or a sort of a dimension, pulling of a dimension, I would say, to see how your business is growing and what are the tools that you can probably utilize on your own. And yeah, you could add as many as you want, yeah, depending on where you come from. So every individual, every role per se is able to do this right after you kind of upgrade, and you don't have to look for people who probably want to take a lot of time and not being able to answer your queries and so on. So these things are fairly interesting in detail. Then these are clickable details. So you're able to have the document listed. You can export this list. You can just go in and check all the details on the fly, right? So these things are fairly interactive in nature. And many of the customers are always desperately looking for these kind of tools. A lot many don't even know that it exists, right? So this is an example of what you could do. Of course, you can basically email out or even save it as a file. So if you're doing a report of or trying to send it to somebody, you can do it already from here. This server is already integrated with the email, so I should be able to receive it on email as well. You see that? So now let's go back and look at another version of the same. This is something we customized just before the meetup. So we wanted to just track some invoice movement based on quarterly. So we should be able to see some quarterly activity. So this company earns so much of revenue and it's generated by quarterly sales, and then it's looking at the number of invoices. It's also looking at trending of the sales. Who is your maximum buyer? And what are all the related transactions around it? Who's your salesperson? How many was invoiced between certain months or certain stats, you know? So all of these things you're able to sort of pretty much draw on your own. Something that you always request to a technician or a developer at the back, I'm sure, yeah. So there are a number of things that you can sort of do it on your own. Now, again, when it comes to how we transact, it's fairly the same, meaning in the event that you want to create a quotation, you can just about go create a quotation in this way. And then the details, you do not have to swing back to this old screen, you know. You don't have to go doing this anymore. And these things are only fitting itself into a desktop or probably a in-house or a LAN environment where, but these things are available just as you go into Google. So when we have interfaces like this available and keep it robust, our our impressions of the product that we have naturally changes, because it's so unfair that sometimes people complain about how ERP systems is so inflexible, but in the natural fact, they may not even have explored enough. So in certain cases like that, evaluations are necessary. Talking to people like us are necessary. And then who knows, we could probably come up with certain key things that which can totally be impressive, cosmetically as well as interactively, so to speak. Yeah. Now, I will skip some of these, if not, there's any details that you need me to go through. Any questions? I'll take a pause here.
Yep, this session is supposed to be a little bit more interactive. So if it's okay, maybe you might have a question. No question. Probably you could state something on the chat box. Love to hear something that you are currently working on, or you are exploring, or something that interests you. That would be, because then we can actually navigate according to that the need as well.
So again, feel free to approach us offline as well, yeah. And do discuss if there's any roadmap or any functional changes, technical changes. How do I do this? How do I improve that? What will it cost me? How efficient are you? How much timeline do I need? What are the urgent or not urgent cases? So these kind of things you can always interact or talk to us, right? Now, this whole discussion is quite a limited agenda for now, and is to just show our capability as well as tell you what we are able to do for you. And among all of the things is all about migration and hosting. So a bit of a talk around this. In cases where customers are struggling to maintain their internal infrastructure, somebody that they are paying is not available on time, probably on a weekend, or you have a critical system, production system going down every now and then, and somebody has to press a button to bring it up. These things are almost a routine thing or a case for us. And in certain visualization, we understand the nature, the urgencies, also the floor ops that's going on. We adopt into discussing what are the ways we can improve such scenarios and situations. We then give them a roadmap to have a migration to cloud where you can almost see these things working automatically without much interactions or almost nothing to do. And then we plug in products like this where we can do something called the physical to virtual migration. So anything physical that we do on site, we almost immediately virtualize, and the turnaround time for these things are fairly quick. Now, I'll just move on to the next set of slides, which is concentrated on the very topic. Yeah? Now, we know that products can be upgraded. Now, why do we need to upgrade this? Because it's just like buying a new mobile phone, you're making available the latest technology. Around these agendas are upgrades as well, where you're trying to interface something new, you're trying to enhance something new within a company, and that needs a bit of upgrade. So that upgrade availability is always there with SAP. Next is, oh look, although upgraded, looks like my servers are very fat already. I need a much more scalable system. I don't want to invest a ton of money every now and then. So that's where you go about thinking of a migration. So these two agendas can be together or it can be separated depending on what is available in-house with you. In companies where there's local IT support and everything is good, yeah, we speak with such uh, people who are able to interact or tell us on IT side how the infra sits. But where customers are plainly dependent on a vendor-based environment, including the hardware and so on, this is where our niches are, where we step in and we totally assume end-to-end, like what they mentioned earlier. So the end-to-end meaning that we will have an infrastructure solution, we will have a ERP solution, then we have extensions to the ERP. It could be Flow, WMS, even the e-invoice or field management. So these things comes in as a natural river or a stream. But then where are you really stuck? Are you stuck at the very beginning or somewhere halfway, or you're trying to improve a certain an operation or a production? Things like that is something we need to sit and speak about. For SAP, this has been the roadmap. And going into the version 10 and above, something really changes, not just the look and feel, but the coding mechanism, the structure, also the way it is being presented. Somewhere SAP B1, I mean, for those of you who know it already, is a fat client, meaning it loads on your PC, always loading, taking time, hogging up your laptop or your desktop space. But with us, we keep it completely cloud, such as what I showed you earlier. So it's as good as giving you a link, logging it into that link, and then there you are. And then you have a very beautiful new interface. Now, for all of that, what is then necessary is to see what are the current versions that you're sitting on, how many levels of upgrade we need to go through until it becomes a stable version. So the stable version then means that I just overhaul the entire vehicle and that's like brand new already, and then I'm gonna bring it to the showroom. So the whole thing is all about upgrading first and then to go about migrating. So what then is the roadmap for such activity? Simply tell yourselves that for those who are already not so keen or demoralized with the product, there's always a roadmap. So in the past, or even around early 2000, where this product came about, fairly stable to be honest. And since then, there's been so many changes within the roadmap. So we are looking at every year some kind of a solutioning or ISV or some partner coming up with their own solution, keeping this product alive. Unlike Microsoft, which kills itself every time. So this SAP, one thing good about the organization itself is they do justice to what they created, a child. So they make it grow, they make it educative, intuitive, and everything. And in these circumstances, now they're extending it to cloud. There is something called the Business One Cloud or a partner hosted option. So we are a partner and we have these options to host and implement as well. Now, this portion of the hosting and implementation, I'll touch on it a bit. Earlier, I had this web client piece that I showed up on the URL and stats. That was one. Mobility apps, I've not shown you any yet, but of course, for those interested parties, we can discuss this offline. We carry quite a few applications ourselves. The roadmap is there. The product won't die. Now we have to sort of polish it, enhance it, and then add new functions to it and make it robust. So that's pretty much the life cycle for every other product you own. Then comes, who do we do this with? Part of the engagement recently, or a few years in the history, we partner Alibaba because these guys are very competitive in terms of cost as well as the efficiencies. Now, what these fellows offer us is a staging, a place to rent. Unlike you buy a very expensive hardware and sit it rot. So that's not what happens here. This is very much elastic, which means you can pull it to a minimum to a maximum extent. And with a very minuscule or minimal downtime, you're able to almost switch and plug in your systems online almost immediately. So initiatives like this has brought us close to working with them and then extending solutions with them. But what are they to begin with? They are already ISO compliant, meaning when you bring your data and host it on the cloud, all you need to know is they are safe, right? Nothing goes messed up. And then all of it is retrievable and available at a maximum. So we are talking about it being passing ISO 20007, SOC 2 compliant. SOC is basically standards within the hosting bodies or organizations to see whether it's free of bugs, spamming, availability, high availability, backup, restore BCPs, so many things that comes along with this SOC compliance. Again, SOC compliance is also a material or a document which we can produce with the government, or maybe in this case, Malaysian government, to tell that the data remains in Malaysia. So this is something complements or attests the whole scenario. Secure and stable. Naturally, when you log in, it's not like the VPN thing you had to do in the past. Nowadays, we have engines which are fairly secure, spam-free, anti-phishing, anything firewall-based enabled. URL-based logs in. When you get into the system, you directly go into SAP, even not having to go hopping like a bunny rabbit few steps. So that is new. And of course, when it's all about customer, dealing with the customer, we are very sensitive to two things. One, price sensitive, and the second is the availability. In most cases, unfortunately, vendors are not able to support their customers right after the first of implementation. So that doesn't happen with us. We're always listening. We always have interaction with our client. And then a very high uptime. Interestingly, among all the hostings that I've provided, we've been doing for Amazon, Microsoft, and so on. But Alibaba gives us a bit of an edge, an uptime, and also it keeps it very simple. I never see it going down for even patches and all that. It's fairly seamless. So if you're of a production environment, you need this thing 24/7 from anywhere. Guess what? You're talking to a one party here. You don't have to call your IT guy, a vendor, a supplier, an ERP, a reporting or analytics, or a mobile development company, all in one. Now we have matured ourselves in a way that we understand these technologies. We know what customers really expect from us. And the whole thing is about how do we deliver or provide service quality. And the service quality is defined by a full managed services component. So you have this hosted, we are listening to it 8 times 5 or 24/7, depending on the SLA documents that we sign. And then we're always there to help you out functionally as well as technically speaking, so that we basically like a year, which is always listening. Yeah. Now, talk about the reviews Alibaba's got. Again, this is interesting for business decision makers. These are the quadrants where the quadrants come in as whether or not some of these are competitor companies, like IBM is no more, Transcend gone already. Oracle is basically being very opportunistic. Google will always there. Microsoft will always be there in the highest tiers. But then where does Alibaba sit in is basically in terms of visionaries. Their entire landscape is looking to address certain challenges. They are looking to provide a lot of quality-based service, and they are very, very, very price competitive. So it's as good as you buying something tomorrow, having it hosted for 3 years, and it depreciates against anything you buy off the Alibaba, and then it can take you up to 5 years of the same cost. So there's some ROI thing that we can talk about if you're keen. And the entire thing with Alibaba has a best fit for us, of course, based out of China, but then hostings can be available in Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong, and some other countries per se. They have data centers everywhere. Now, this is one review. And the level of hosting that they provide is some of these variants. So when we talk about putting anything up for a machine, We have to consider what is the network like, storage like, servers, what OS you want to have, how fast you want it to be running, what kind of data you're going to load application. There are multiple things. Among these multiple things, they might be vertical components, like whether you want a as an infrastructure only, meaning you have your application, but you just want to purchase infra, or PaaS, or SaaS. SaaS being the most obvious. Why SaaS is because you bundle in SAP, you bundle in infra, you bundle in all the managed services and securities all in this blue thing. In traditional sense, some of these, the orange ones are separated. There's a choice to purchase one and add another, whereas in SaaS model, all comes in as a together setup. Now, the whole thing is called as elastic computing. So the whole computing method is all about how you identify your current infrastructure problems, whereby maybe you've been spammed before, your networks are not safe. Now you're looking to just get rid of it all and then go virtual. It's just like you subscribing 365. So eventually, like it or not, eventually the whole environment will be virtualized. Now, how prepared are you? How intuitive you get? How much are you able to invest your time, effort, and monies into growing your business is very, very important. There are a lot of examples around it where companies didn't embark on a technology and then they fell off the floor. The Nokia, the Finnish companies, there's some, even Nissan now closing doors. And a lot of examples really for manufacturing, Transcend, IBM scale down, and all of these companies or big companies thought they will last. But again, what we have to always remember is you got to evolve, you got to change being the constant. So if you don't change, these things naturally take over the whole show, right? Now, if you are a visionary and if you're trying to adopt something new, of course, it's a little painful. It could be also meaning that you got to educate a ton of staff at the back. You might be looking at what it might cost or how much time it will take. Maybe you have bad experience with all the vendors or whoever you interacted. Then again, leave a bit of a room for a chance or look at negotiating with somebody like us who will probably have done this multiple times and who can come to help you out in a much better way or a plan, so to speak. So these things we can try and discuss individually as well if necessary. Of course, the last part, how is it all logically structured? Might not have to make much sense, but yeah, there's a software, there's a hardware, there's a storage, there's a CPU, and so on. But anything around it are access lists, meaning who gets to check what, backups, images. Then there is a storage. Where does my data store? Is it safe or not? Can I collect it? The government allows it. What if somebody hacked? A lot of all these elementary questions are a thing of a past. We are able to manage all of this effectively, and we have a lot of use cases. I'm almost reaching to the end of the conversation, way above the time limit. Yeah. What we are is currently in these three countries. So people who are logged in here, some of my own members of the company. From Singapore, Dilip, of course, is in Malaysia, Shalini, and then there are a few others from Philippines. So we have 3 locations physically available. We are currently going into other countries as well, but projects of ours are very much diverse. So that diversity comes in where we have a lot of rollout projects across the globe, anything from Japan, China, Malaysia, Thailand, the UAE side, Middle Eastern side, European side, quite a few customers, Africa in the past, Australia, and as well as Americas. What happens in a typical rollout environment is we're not only limited to Malaysia, and this one thing helps us to excel in our knowledge bases, not only in terms of industry, but also country-specific configuration. We have some rollout knowledge where companies are establishing into Malaysia, into Philippines or Singapore, and vice versa, meaning they will branch out. So scenarios like this, we should be very well aware of a few things. One are localizations, the industry knowledge and know-how, as well as compliances. So these three things comes in very intuitively for us. And then so far we have quite a good customer following, and almost to no failures or no falling off of customer base, in my opinion. And that in itself says a lot. And the team here, we have quite a sizable team, and then they are fairly engaged in their routine in terms of supporting as well as interacting. So the whole agenda for today was more of presenting you our capabilities, to talk about what we have achieved so far, what are the things that we are able to bring for a proposition to you, and then many of the smaller solutions and interactive solutions that we could be uh, housing as well as executing. Uh, for those decision makers and for those individuals who are able to look or carry some of the information back to your companies, you may want to have another talk time with us, or to even discuss anything that matters around the things that you're about to improvise or even bring to your organization. Uh, End of the day, Pixel Pinnacle is some partner that we would like you to consider of choice to bring certain digital transformation. And this transformation can mean anything that is in the areas of automating your existing capability. So the technological know-how, or the service excellence, anything that in the past that we carry to support, in any of the client environments that we have, the experiences that we bring, will naturally help you capitalize your time and effort into us. So that's where we want to tie this up, and then pursue some of the engagement that we could with you in the future. So from my end, I will just stop here for now, and I appreciate your time listening, or happy to receive some questions. Back to you,
Yeah,
Dean.
I was wondering, maybe Miss Chung was typing a question, I think, but I think I didn't see. Uh, Please feel free to ask question, because end of the day you are here to gather something, and of course presentation wise you could hear from Praveen on the topics that uh, we have displayed and spoken about. So it is about the migration and upgrades. But is there any specific you know um, areas that you're looking at for yourself on the finance side? I think probably some of you are from finance. Do you have anything that you would like us to um, zoom into? Uh, Feel free to put a question on chat box. It's completely free for you. So is there no questions at all? Zero? Okay. So with the what we got here, in terms of upgrade and migration and the analytics part, I think these are some of the areas that we believe that the clients, prospects, or clients who are using SAP B1 at the moment, or on even on the SAP level, many of them who are not really utilizing in full on what can be a better capability of SAP. But here we have, like, our expertise here in this case on these areas that we have presented. This can actually be helpful for you, but to whom we will be working with and to whom our conversation is really dependent on your side. And we will be happy if you could, reach us out back. We will also be reaching out to you to see what anything that can be done further. Cost-wise, of course, there's always that case of, extras company has to pay, but we are not at the very premium level. We are somewhere you will be able to afford, and something that we will still not shortchange you, or fall off the proposition that we are putting in. So our work is always on a quality, and we will ensure that that is met. Still no questions. Okay. Is there any other final words, Praveen, before we wrap it up? If anyone wants to unmute, please go ahead. We have a couple of people from other regions as well, but from our side in Malaysia, if there's any question from you, anyone wants to unmute, please go ahead. Okay, if there's none, I think we can wrap it up, Ravi. Yeah.
Sure. So thank you, everyone. What we will do is we'll try to send you feedback, as well as do get in touch if you would like to interact on a personal level. And anybody here will be happy to entertain you and then try to get to the next level in case necessary. You all have a good day, and then we'll see you again. Please keep in touch. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, on behalf of Pixel Pinnacle Technology, so I want to thank Praveen for this valuable time. And of course, our conversation doesn't end here. Feel free to reach out to the team, or we will also probably reach out to you. And we can look into the areas that we are talking about and how we can help you. Yeah. Yes, we can actually send you, probably, Miss Chong. What we will do is actually we will send you a YouTube instead. Or if you like anything specific, we can also send you. Let us know, because there's a bunch of slides there. But we can also share the slides with you. So if there's nothing else remaining, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward for the next events. Please join us again, and this will be a bit more continuous, and hoping that you could also bring in the rest of the other parties in your organization. That might be even more helpful next time. Yeah. So thank you again, and have a pleasant day.